Hello everyone, welcome back to Debut Factory, a hub where VTubers can showcase their debuts, 1.0s, 2.0s. We are a hub for both scenes and other fandom exchanges, and today we are here with Mina Mischi, who is a SKUNK VTuber, and she's going to be our third interview of Volume 1 of V Rising, an interview magazine for new debuts. So Mina, let's get started. Who are you, and what kind of VTuber are you?
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Mina Mischi, and I am a skunk witch VTuber. I'm mostly a variety streamer who focuses a lot on community building and horror content, and hopefully in the future, special events as well.
Interesting, thank you. Are you heading towards streaming within a niche, or are you planning to become a variety streamer? What kinds of content do you do?
Most definitely a variety streamer. I have so many interests, call it ADHD, but there's so many different video games that I grew up with and I love, and I want to be able to share more than just one specific type of content with my community. I do tend to lean toward horror games and horror content, but I really love any sort of RPG.
Can you explain some of the games that you like playing on your streams?
Oh yes, I really think that horror games are the most fun with the community. For some reason, having an audience makes them way less scary. But I think my favorite game that I would love to play in the future is Alien Isolation. But I've been having a really fun time with some other horror games like A Quiet Place and My Side.
Yeah, I do. I heard about My Side. It's one of those newer games, right?
Yes, it's one of the newer what do you call it, yandere kind of, yeah, yandere
Uh,
content games.
Interesting, yeah. Are there any other non-horror games you would like to get into in the future?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's The Witcher 3. I'd love to do another playthrough of that. Baldur's Gate 3 as well. And I know I'm gonna cry. I know I'm going to cry, but I would love to play Neva and share that with my audience because I know it's a beautiful game. I've heard so many wonderful things about it, and I'm really excited to get into that as well.
Interesting. Well, it's fun to hear about all the different games you want to play. Let's talk community. I see you hosted a community game night. How do you hope to connect with your viewers in the future, and what kind of audience do you hope to foster?
I'm really, really big on community building. It was something that I really emphasized as a face cam streamer back in 2021. And it's something I really try and prioritize now. One of the things that we are actually doing currently is preparing for a chat choose your own adventure event, which is kind of
Hmm.
like a fun visual novel take on D&D. But I really love doing events where chat gets to have more of a personal interaction and engagement with the content that I create. And as far as an audience, my main goal with VTubing in and of itself is just to have fun and create a really positive and welcoming environment where people feel safe and can honestly just kind of let go of some of the stress that they have at the end of the day. So, um, as far as cultivating an audience, I just really want people to promote those sort of values and be welcoming to others and promote that stuff.
Yeah, that all sounds like so much fun. I see you were a facecam streamer, as you just said. Has that helped you in your VTubing endeavors at all?
I think it has. I think I learned a lot back in 2021. I will say it's definitely a different trajectory than what I had originally gone through, but it definitely taught me a lot about the types of content that I like, how to engage with my community, and kind of like the values that I want to pursue as a VTuber.
Further about a VTuber's community, do you find it important for streamers to connect closely with their audience and interact with them a lot? Why or why not?
Honestly, I would say no. I think it all depends on the kind of content that you want to produce and what your priorities are. If you're a smaller VTuber who places a lot of emphasis on cultivating a community, kind of like myself, then I would say that learning about your community and taking the time to, connect with them and interact with them really go a long way to achieving that goal. But the unfortunate fact of VTubing is that the larger you are, the less ability you have to connect with your audience on a personal level. But it doesn't discourage, larger creators and especially corporate creators from being successful, which is why I also think that focusing on your content is just as important as focusing on your audience.
Yeah, I do think especially as a bigger creator, there's kind of that fine balance between, connecting with your audience, but also kind of getting to the content at hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I love your model. I almost thought you were a cat girl. Why did you decide to become a skunk?
I thought long and hard. Okay, when I say long and hard, I think about 3 weeks between when I found out about VTubing and when I decided to, commission my first model. It didn't have really anything to do with, oh, I think there's too many cat girls or anything like that. I just really wanted an animal-based model. And I was trying to think of the different types of characteristics that would fit well with the sort of gremlin type personality that that I know that I have. So I almost went with an albino raccoon, but ultimately I thought
Hmm.
that a skunk would sort of encapsulate the sort of stinky, chaotic gremlin vibes that I was really going for.
Ah, so it definitely fits your personality a lot, your current model.
I would definitely say so, yes.
Yeah, that's good. I know some people, their models don't fit their personality, but it's great that you found a model that really fits you. Um,
Thank you.
what do you think is the most important lesson for new VTubers to learn as a new VTuber yourself? Why do you think this?
This is something that I'm still trying to learn and put into practice myself, but it is a marathon, not a sprint. When it comes to streaming, growth, building an audience, connecting with other creators, all of it, it's important to set, realistic expectations, to be kind to yourself, and don't do too much too quickly, such that you burn yourself out. This is something I had to learn the hard way back in 2021, and why I'm being especially careful, with my journey nowadays, because it is something that I have gone through before, burnout, as a content creator. And I know it's something that a lot of people can relate to, but especially when you're starting out and you have such big hopes and big goals, it's always important to remember to, take care of yourself first and foremost, and make sure that you're doing things that you're capable of doing.
Yeah, I definitely think some people go a little bit too fast, but I know slow is the goal, and you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself in the process. That's definitely true. Yeah. What do you think people place too much importance on when debuting as a VTuber? Why do you think this?
I think a lot of people just want everything to go perfectly. And as we all know in the VTuber space, that just doesn't happen. I think they want to, they want to have all the assets, they want to have all their emotes, the art, they want to have effects, they want to have lore videos, they want everything. When, in reality, you just need to show up and show your audience, who you are and what kind of content they have to look forward to. I think a lot of larger creators and especially corpos place so much emphasis on debuts that it's kind of become part of the culture. And to, a smaller or indie VTuber, it might seem like it's such a huge deal, a huge event that you have to go hard for. But that's just not the case. I think I showed up to my debut with just a just a PowerPoint slide and a whole lot of voice.
Yeah, I definitely think, you don't need all the fancy little tools and assets. Here at Debut Factory, of course, we don't, expect everyone to have all these fancy assets and a big old debut. We just hope that viewers and, the VTubers themselves will kind of show up for themselves. We do think that that's a little bit more important, right?
Agree 100%. Yeah, it's all about who you are and what you want to portray, not necessarily all the fancy gadgets that you have.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Let's talk your debut. How did it go, and how do you think it could have been improved?
When I was leading up to my debut, one, it did not go to plan at all. I made the slides that I showcased, my whole PowerPoint presentation. I made those slides that day because we had some tech issues. So I was like, you know what? I've already planned it. Let's just do it. But actually, leading up to the debut, my best friend was one of my viewers because I begged her. I was so worried that nobody was going to show up, that nobody was going to care. But honestly, the VTuber space and all of the wonderful, the connections that I've made, the friends that I've made, they all came up to support me. And it went so much better than I could have expected. I had such a fun time. I think at one point I was in tears from laughter. So honestly, in terms of my own expectations, it exceeded it way beyond anything I could have imagined. So I'm just elated with how it went.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm glad you had so many different friends to support you. You know, it's always great that people in the VTubing community, you know, I think there's kind of a growing movement of people supporting each other, especially in the indie space, since, you know, we can't all live up to the corpo expectations. So, you know, it's great that we're all kind of showing up for each other. So I definitely think that's
Exactly.
important.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's been one of the most fun things that I've come into the space getting to experience is that networking and getting to be a part of other people's communities just as much as they've become part of mine. So that was definitely a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad your debut went very well. Where do you think you will fit in the future of VTubing as a growing niche and medium? Where will you fit?
I think, like most people, that have my sort of goals where they start. I kind of see myself as a more broad content creator. I have a lot of things planned in the future. I know it's only been 2 months, but I see myself as a multi-platform content creator who hopefully will specialize in some really big fun events. I actually have a dating show planned in the next in the next month or two. So hopefully that'll be the first of many fun things that I'll get to do. But honestly, regardless of where I fit, as long as I have, you know, a community that I love and that supports me, and then I get to make fun content for, that's all I can really ask for.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I hope your dating show goes well and all that sounds
Thank
very
you.
fun. And finally, why do you yap so much?
You know, it's so funny when people ask me that question because I've thought about that for many, many weeks now, and I get so many people who come up to me and they ask, "How do you yap so much? How do you have this superpower?" And despite despite being able to mull it over for weeks, I don't have an answer. You know, we can call it unmitigated, unfiltered ADHD and a love of connecting with people in my community. I think both of those things are so fun, and every single stream that I do, it feels like showing up to like kindergarten show and tell, where I
Mm-hmm.
just have so many things to share about my life and my content, and I get really excited, and I just love being able to connect with my community. And apparently, even if that means connecting with them for 2 hours before I even start a video game, then that's what happens.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you, Mina, for coming to this interview today. You
Thank
for
you so much for having me. It's been really fun, and really looking forward to the first volume. I think there's a lot of really cool creators in the magazine, in the issue, and yeah, excited to see where this all goes.
Yes, well, thank you for tuning in, everyone. This has been Debut Factory for Volume 1 of V Rising, and thank you, Mina, for joining us.